Hyperinflation is the worst possible outcome for most people, but there's a huge difference between high inflation and hyperinflation. Two different things. Hyperinflation is a currency collapse, and I hope we never get to that. But if we keep going exponential, then hyperinflation in the United States would be one of the greatest disasters in history, I think, because it would just destroy the society. I think it's indisputable that the Federal Reserve has been a major factor in rising wealth inequality in the United States, which I believe is a major factor in the division that we have in the United States and a major factor in the corruption we have in the United States, because a group of people now who are so wealthy beyond anyone's wildest dreams. Isn't Elon worth like 300 billion now or something? That it doesn't matter if 10,000 or 100,000 Joe Sixpacks call Congress and ask for something, because the congressmen know they can get more money from the billionaires. People are struggling, and inflation is a huge problem for them. And the Fed is not helping them. The Fed, in fact, doesn't care about them at all. I've said before, I'm not delusional. I don't expect the Fed to be ended in my lifetime, okay? Because the powers that be do not support that, because they benefit largely. But what we can do is, I had smart people tell me about it when it was far cheaper than today. And the reason I didn't is I was like, well, heck, if this ever gets big, the government's going to crush it, and I'm frankly a little surprised they haven't yet, but God bless them. I will never opine on, I'll never talk about why Bitcoin is this or that, because it's not my wheelhouse. I am not the enemy of Bitcoin. I've been a great number of people. I think there's huge overlap between sort of the traditional, Austrian type school, anti, Bernanke Yellen type people and the Bitcoin community. We're like, there's a lot of overlap there. I get along. A lot of my followers or people I follow are Bitcoin maximalists almost, and that's fine. And as I said in another podcast, I think I said, I have no, I don't have any FOMO. If you tell me you put $1,000 in and now you're worth 10 million, I'm like, that's great. I have no FOMO, which has saved me in the stock market a few times over the years. So I wish nothing but the best for Bitcoin. I do own a little bit. So if it goes to what did Eric Trump say it's going to, $1 million something, I'll have some money, that'll be great. Um, I told a group of people, honestly, I posted this too in 2017. I said, I was at like a book club and I told a bunch of guys who were asking about Bitcoin, because remember Bitcoin hit like 17 or 19,000, something like that back in late 2017. And I said, look, they're all asking me about Bitcoin. I go, you know what? I go, everybody here should buy a little bit of Bitcoin, because if it goes to $1 million, I don't want to hear anybody bitching that, they should have bought some. And so I said, and I said that, and I don't know how many did, so I am not a crypto person at all. I'm just too old. I'm too dumb to get it. And I've had a lot of very smart people try and convince me. The way I put it is, the Bitcoin guys and me, we're both on the same hijacked plane, and we'll work together. Let's work together. Yeah, Lawrence Lepard, great guy. He's been one of my, biggest, I follow him, he
Supporters.
follows me, supporters. And he's a full-on Bitcoin
Yep.
guy.
He's been on the show twice.
Yeah, there's a number of others
Friends with
too.
Larry. And Larry's a great bridge.
Yeah,
Larry's, came to it from hard money, gold.
yeah,
That's what's frustrating with Darth is like we're like you said, we're on the same hijacked plane.
yeah.
He's arguing the same stuff we are. He just doesn't see us on the same team. He sees us as part of the problem. And I didn't mean to hijack this conversation and make it so much about
No.
Bitcoin. One of the things I love about the show is we can have our talk and just really go where it goes, and we don't have to kind of always talk about Bitcoin.
Well,
But
what should concern you guys, I think, I don't know, maybe not. It concerns me is the Scaramucciization of Bitcoin, or the Larry Fink.
sure,
It sort of epitomizes the exact opposite of what I
the
alleged
ethos might
supposedly
have
is the
been,
ethos of Bitcoin, right?
but it's
So
for enemies. It's a neutral network. It's
I,
numbers. It doesn't care about us or
I
think.
I understand that. I
I hear
understand
you.
that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying that
I
these
get
these
it.
parasites latch onto everything,
Yep.
and I don't know if it's whenever those guys get involved,
We got to be
it
weary.
worries me.
We got to be
Huh?
weary. I
Yeah.
mean, trust, don't trust, verify.
Trust but verify.
Same.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
don't trust, verify is what we say.
Yeah.
Just don't trust
But
first.
here's the
Make them
thing.
prove it.
There's so many smart guys that are very pro Bitcoin that uh that I agree with on a huge number of issues. And I'm not saying I disagree on Bitcoin. It's just I'm not a I'm not a Bitcoin guy. I have a little bit. And that's and but I have no
That's a huge
problem.
step.
Yeah.
And any Bitcoin would tell you a little bit one day is going to be worth a
Well, it's
bit,
already
a lot of
worth a
bits.
lot. It's already worth a lot more than I
it'll
paid for
grow
it.
in
Yeah.
purchasing power forever. And just that,
Yeah.
just knowing that, I think gives people a lot of, and from our perspective, my perspective, in
Sure.
terms of empowerment, like, wow, like one day this will be worth a lot of money.
Sure.
That's empowering.
But that's the thing. Let's say
Yeah.
forget Bitcoin. Let's say we agree on a ton of issues, but we disagree on I don't know,
Climate,
one
climate
issue,
change.
climate change.
Was maybe
Then
something
you
less dramatic than that, but I
Well,
get what
let's
you're
say
saying.
climate change. Let's say you're a full believer in it and I'm a denier,
Right.
which I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying let's just say we have a major issue that we disagree on, but we agree on everything else. I have absolutely no problem, and I'm not going to pick at you on that one issue that we and frankly, if you start picking on me on the one issue we disagree with, I'm like, you know what? I don't have time for this. Let's agree. Let's talk about what we agree on. I think it's important and try and advance that. That's why I got a great picture of Ron Paul and Dennis Kucinich together, like smiling. They're friends, and I say I'm looking for common ground. I mean, I could find someone who's maybe there's someone who's pro-Fed, but they're very anti bank corruption.
I,
I have no problem. Them. I don't need to attack them when they say Jay Powell's doing a good job. But I can agree with them when they say this bank fine is ridiculous. These guys are criminals and they never go to jail. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just saying
well,
people
I
need.
think I think I get what you're saying
Yeah,
totally, and I really like 99.999% really there. The
yeah,
0.0001% I'm not there is when I think that people who are trusted in one area and have built up credibility
yeah,
go into another area. Now, it's very similar like mainstream media. Like I could read an article about fishing. I don't know anything about fishing. And I'd be like, wow, everything that guy said or that girl said makes sense. It sounds smart. And then if you know fishing, though, you're like, that's a bunch of word salad nonsense.
yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah.
start to know, if you know enough, you're like, what you're saying is not true.
There's a term
And,
for that which I forget right now, but
and
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And so, and particularly with something like I don't, outside of something like Bitcoin, it's a very precious thing. But in terms of like, I don't really go up to people in real life or anywhere and be like, hey, I got this checking account. You're gonna make a little extra money. You should do
Yeah,
that with your money.
yeah,
I really don't try to tell people what to do, not financial advice.
yeah,
But if I don't know a subject, and I think something like Bitcoin, which at least if you are interested in it will help you go away from things like the Fed and
yeah.
go away and help you figure out how to protect yourself from inflation. Even if
I
Bitcoin
support
you
that.
don't choose as your tool, but if you're out there screaming Bitcoin is bullshit,
Right.
then I think you're hurting people or
Yeah,
can be hurting people. And so I think it's like a little bit of a moral line, like where I'm like, whoa, like now it's because Twitter is a battlefield of ideas, and people
yeah,
are coming there, and people should not, people should take responsibility for their choices, but like people are trying to get signal there, and I think like in that case, I'm like, wow, you're giving out really bad signal, bro. Like that's just not good. And I'm like, I followed your account. I boosted his account a lot. So now I feel like, wow, like, and like I was saying, people can be wrong or not even wrong. You can disagree. I shouldn't say wrong because maybe he's right or whatever, but you can disagree on one issue and still be friends on other things. I just
yeah.
think that when there's innocent people in between you, that the ideas need to be battled because that
Sure.
we're not trying to be friends. Like Dart's not trying to be my friend. He's like yelling at people I think are my friends, like and telling us
Yeah.
that we're all con artists.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest Byte Federal ATM and turn your cash to coin. Byte Federal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.